The podcast you are listening to of Holmberg's Morning Sickness is brought to you by my friends at Eric's Family Barbecue in Avondale. Meet, mesquite, repeat. Trust me on this one. You've had barbecue before, but you haven't had it this good. Eric's Family Barbecue in Avondale, ericsfamilybbq.com.
When was the last time you had really good Texas-style barbecue? Eric's Family Barbecue, the way it's supposed to taste. Always delicious, never rushed, and prepared to perfection. Eric's Family Barbecue uses only 100% fresh meat, slowly smoked over mesquite wood until it's juicy and delicious. We all know their brisket is the best, but have you tried their pulled pork ribs, or rib tips? Amazing, and their sides are all house-made. Eric's Family Barbecue in Avondale. Meet, mesquite, repeat. Make the trip. You won't be sorry. Go to ericsfamilybbq.com for more information.
Holmberg's Morning Sickness.
You've been deceived by an agent of Satan himself. He's evil.
Sitting right here. Come on.
No, he's not. He's not evil. He's just a bit rude.
98 UPD.
There's a thank you, Silence the Voice. It's a glorious, glorious time for you. It's that weird thing at the end of Miss America. Let's bring out last year's winner. She takes that last walk for a month and a half. Silence the Voice, ending their reign as champions of Play-Doh 2021.
They're on the walkway.
They are on the walk, waiting to crown a new one as Play-Doh gets ready. And the website, 98kupd.com. Click on Play-Doh if you're a band and you want in on this thing. There's a couple grand in it for the winner. Just pretty great. And then we have like a big... well,
they can get in again, can't they?
Oh,
or
sure.
Do we change that?
Sure. If you win 3 times in a row, come on. Not in a row, but 3 times. We should retire you after 2. But you win 3. What, huh? Say again? Oh, why'd your mic do that? Go ahead.
Did you guys retire Whiskey 6? Because they won twice,
Whiskey 6 got
right?
retired, Bear Ghost got retired, and then they retired themselves. Yeah, we had a few of them where like, you can't be in it anymore. We don't want you here. If you can't make it outside of Play-Doh and you keep trying to win Play-Doh, your bar's too low. Go win something else. So Silence the Voice, you've got this year and this year only, and that's it. You win 2 in a row, and you're retired for the HOF. You're in the Ring of Honor. Let somebody else win. So we'll do it again this year. Get your submissions in there to Toledo. We've already got a few rolling in. As Play-Doh is always surprising to me how fast everybody jumps and gets their stuff in here. It's nuts. Now, speaking of nuts, Brady, did we do that story about the ball bath? I saw a story again last night on it. I don't remember talking about it, but Germany, people won an award because a lady got ovarian cancer from taking the pill. And the pill is bad for women, for birth control. It's not good for you. It does stuff to your body over time. And it's
long term.
Long term, it's not a great, it does not
There's
good
some
for
risks.
Yeah. This lady got cancer, and she started to look into, like, her husband having a vasectomy, but they weren't sure they didn't, like, the kid thing was still on the table, so he didn't want to get a vasectomy and have to go through that invasive thing and then go back and have it reversed. So they invented the ball bath, testicle bath. And they won whatever the James Dyson Award is. They won it. It's the top prize. Rebecca Weiss, she's an industrial design graduate. And basically all it is just a little, you know what it reminds me of? Only with a completely different functionality, is the Snow teeth whitening tray. You charge it. You put water in it. It's like a little tiny bowl.
Yeah.
You dip your balls in it.
Because it's at a certain temperature? Because it burns it.
I don't know. Ultrasound something. Got me. But the thing inside the thing, you turn it on. It does some ultrasound stuff to the water. Numbs your nuts. They can't, like your sperms.
Can't produce
your
sperm
sperms, it can, but they're dumb. So they're just kind of laying there. They're lazy and they don't do anything.
They're scattering all over the
Where
place.
do you get this thing?
Yeah, no, that's what I was thinking of you, Brett.
Yeah.
I think maybe you should get on this. So they won this dice. They won the $45,000 prize to make this thing a bigger deal. But this is great. You can just dip your balls in hot water. You can do this at home.
I always heard that about hot tubs. If you're trying to get pregnant, don't do hot tubs.
Yeah, stay out of the hot tubs. Right,
hot tubs up next week.
Well, stay in, live in it.
Yes.
The only place you're allowed to be is in the hot tub. Yeah, she said my partner and I were looking for an alternative method. Became aware of the lack of male contraceptives. So she started. So all I'm thinking is, her poor husband, like this is the one they settled on. What did they test? Like, what were the other things? So she's trying to build this new male contraception thing. There were probably 3 or 4 items that, let's try hitting them. Let's try sticking them in fire. I mean, all the things that they had to go through before they settled on this one. This guy was a test dummy, for Christ's sake. Your wife wants to invent male contraception. Guess who she's going to test that on?
Sancho.
That's right, Sancho. You're in trouble. Get yourself one of those. But yeah, so it's kind of cool, and I guess it's going to start like getting some headway for the old testicle bath. You stick your balls in the hot water.
Pick it up at Walgreens. 5
or 6 minutes. Maybe that's what that guy wanted at Fry's. Hey man, you want to buy me one of them testicle baths? I don't want to have no more babies.
See, you should have kept.
I would have done that. Like, all right, condoms and some sort of spermicide. You're in. Come with me. But yeah, all you got to do is hold your balls in that hot ultrasound water for 5 or 6 minutes, and it lasts for like a couple weeks. It's not a bad idea. And I didn't know what ultrasound waves do, but evidently they make your sperm dumb as stumps, and they just swim into each other the whole time. They don't do it like they're strong enough.
Just keep swimming.
It's like trying to get a pothead to lift weights. It's like, come on, man, let's get in there, man. That egg's heavy. Quit it, bro. So it just makes your sperm stoned. Is it worth it? Do you trust that? Would you trust? I dipped my balls in water 6 days ago. I'd
give it a try, but
man,
yeah,
you don't want to fail that one.
No.
She's off the pill. You're relying completely
on the ball bath.
On the ball bath.
Let it ride.
Oh man.
Yeah, no, I guess I'm out on that.
I would probably still wrap up. Then again, contraception to me is ridiculous. I'm only afraid of AIDS. Not catching that. And pregnancy's curable. They got stores all over the city for that, unless you're in Texas. So I got no issues with that. Just got to pick the proper person that's willing to do the other half, right? Pregnancy is completely curable. If you're worried about it, you don't want it. It's better than sitting around the house with your nuts in a tray of hot water that's shooting cancer in it.
I don't know. Taking a little dip.
Oh, it's nice to have your balls in warm water. But ultrasound, I don't know what that's doing. I don't know what kind of lumps
sound waves.
Yeah. I mean, people won't even get the vaccine because they're worried about testing down the road. You have to put your balls in a ultrasound wave machine.
No chemicals.
I don't know what it is. I'm completely unaware. My balls, like if the vaccine was a shot in your balls, I'd be like, I'm sorry, no. I'm not happening. So there you go, guys. And ladies, you can't blame us if you're like, I don't want to take the pill. You dip your balls in this hot water. If it doesn't work,
that's on you.
I'm handing you a $450 payday, and you're going to take care of this thing. Hey, you had the hot ball water idea, and it didn't work, so go take care of this. Cure that. Cure that little STD.
You got to get a 2-in-1 on your toilet. Go to the bathroom.
Oh, that's
flush,
not a bad idea.
And then hit the ball bath button afterwards.
Or just have the ball bath kind of like in a little case.
A little side.
Next to the toilet, and you just, in my case, I just scoot them over.
Yep.
You just put them right down in there, and while you're doing your business, your balls are having a bath. Great idea. It's a twofer. New toilet design, Brady. Male contraception while you're taking a deuce. Of course, you get them high and tight balls like Dr. Lynn says Brady's got. He can't do it. I hate that the doctor told me that. I hate that he told me that. It lives with me forever. You got long, weird skin. Too much. Brady high and tight. His will hurt. I'm like, okay. Thanks for telling me about Brady's high, tight sack. High and tight. Way in there. Almost like vagina. Okay. That's too far, Dr. Lynn.
Never said it.
He did tell me that you had a high and tight ball sack. Brady's much higher and tighter. And I started laughing. And I'm like, well, that's too much to know.
He does not talk about other patients.
He did. You and your balls are high and tight. I don't know why he told me. I wouldn't have just come back with that story on my own. That was his.
I don't know why he told you that either.
It was great. I laughed for about 10 minutes. And then I'm like, I know too much about Brady's balls. Because he was explaining to me. Maybe it was a slip-up.
It was cold that day.
It was a slip-up in the HIPAA. It didn't say they were small, Brady. You don't have to be emasculated by it. He didn't have to say they were small. He made the finger gesture. Little tiny baby ball! But he was holding my goldfish bag of balls, which is a ridiculous amount of skin. And he says, this is good. I hear him that way. It's not how he sounds. These are very good. You have a lot of skin. No bruising to balls. A vasectomy won't hurt. It hurts guys who are high, tight like Brady.
You make him sound like a teppanyaki shop.
Yeah, he was. And then he made a little volcano. You like rice? I love rice, Dr. Lynn. The rice is like a Brady dick? Okay, that's enough. He's a friend.
Man, he shared a lot with you.
He shared a lot. I just listened. I listened to my doctors. Yeah, for some reason he told me your ball sack was high and tight and that you'd have a hard time with a vasectomy. That would hurt. The higher and tighter they are, the closer the balls are to the bruising and the operation site. The lower they hang, the better off you are. Evidently, according to Dr. Lynn, I had zero problems. My friend Rich Falls has the same problem I've got. Larry, same problem I've got with this massive amount of scrotal skin. Too much. Larry
you said it's good pain-wise, right?
Great when it comes to that. The only problem is you sit on your balls every once in a while. Yeah. Not because of the vasectomy. It's because you got too much skin. And again, it's not because your balls are so big, because mine aren't. Mine are off the rack, normal, marbles. But there's just so much skin. It's horrendous looking. It's gross. Ugh. My penis looks like a puppy on a dog bed, just laying on this giant beanbag. Not like Brady's.
Tight.
Yeah, Brady's looks like a jelly bean out from under his penis. I don't know what it is. It's very, it's right in there. He did tell me that. Dr. Lynn, Sunrise Urology.
He's a good man.
He's an amazing man. He does great stuff. And it is better than dip balls in water and taking that fingers crossed chance. Because the last thing you want to find out is that the girl you got pregnant is going to change your mind, and now you're dad, if you don't want to be. If you're dipping your balls in water every 2 weeks, you're probably an abortion guy. I would guess that you're not against it. If you're taking that chance, well, I'll do this, but there is always the fail-safe. I'm not saying you're right or wrong. I'm just saying you're probably. It's like what Jeff Dye said. All guys are for abortion. We just don't say it out loud. Every one of us is relieved when we find out that you're going to take care of that. If we don't want it. I'm not for abortion. Okay, well, you go ahead and have 1,000 of them then. I don't have any kids. I'm not stupid. Dip my balls in that hot water. It's the way it rolls. But yeah, I would do the balls in hot water thing.
Yeah.
I don't have to, though, because vasectomies are king. And, Brett, the fact you haven't signed up for it yet is beyond me. This thing you're walking around with that loaded gun all day long.
I was getting my balls broke all weekend about it.
Your genitals are like the movie set in New Mexico. It's a tragedy waiting to happen.
You got to get that Italian horn capped.
You don't want kids. Yeah. You're walking around with not only is it loaded, it's cocked and ready to go. You got zero retention on that holster. That thing could go off at any time and shoot you right in the leg, and you'll be limping for the rest of your life and paying for it. Look at Brady, for God's sake. Think of Larry. He's got to go to 3 plays
it's expensive.
For his daughter. Now, Larry's very proud of his daughter, but he showed me a video of her play, and I said, because I'm an honest guy with no kids and I have no feelings at all for your kids' performances, because if you're performing, it better be good, and you better get some tough skin. Because some people aren't going to like it. And I watched that thing, and I said, this is the single worst performance I've ever heard. The singing was terrible.
Jesus.
The dancing was worse. One of the worst things I've ever watched.
That should be a better level at that age.
You'd think so. They're like 13 or 14. I will say this. The girls in the video were better than the boys. The boys can't sing at all.
They should have brought the son's twink down there.
Man.
Tony's 16.
She is 16. They should be better. You're right. Absolutely. Yeah. That isn't junior high. She's older. She was a background player in this. Like, Larry's daughter was fine. She did her parts great. And all Larry filmed was her. But then I'd hear the singing, and I'm like, Jesus. I'd have left. And he goes, I had to sit through that twice.
What?
Yeah, because they do 2 shows. And he's got another one to go to this weekend.
One's enough.
One is too many.
One's too many. Up, yeah.
Brett, you didn't get the news last night that you got to buy a new viola because the one's broken?
Yeah. Look at that.
Expenses like that.
Did you have to buy a new viola?
We're lucky. We have to look, yeah.
Will you go get those things knocked off before you're at viola camp with Brady and his high and tights?
I know. I need to.
Yeah. What are you waiting for?
I don't know. Maybe I'll do that for my Christmas present.
You can get one.
No.
You're still a loaded gun, too.
Yeah, and Lisa is the one that's loaded up with all the chemicals.
Okay.
So is Medea. Medea's the same way.
You keep nuking those ovaries, and then you don't have to do anything. But I'll tell you what. The second it's,
I'll call him. Brett will get a 2-fer.
Yeah, man. Yeah, there you go.
She could still slip one past the goalie
I know.
On her nukes as her body adapts to her scorched earth policy of flame-throwing the organ. You got to get on this, man. Vasectomy is the way to go.
Does our insurance cover that?
I think it does, actually.
Does it?
I think it does.
Not mine. It's not that much, though. Ask a couple questions.
Not totally, but...
Or go into Dr. Lynn and have him say that it's a medical necessity. Cause
well, I don't know. After hearing about Brady's balls, I don't want my balls all over.
You get some Italian cancer. Why? Well,
tight.
Are yours high and tight? You got high and tight set?
They're pretty high and tight.
Hurt. That's going to hurt. We should see who's higher and tighter, you or Brady. 'Cause from what I hear, Brady's way up there. It's almost in his throat. Dr. Lynn and I laughed for hours.
His Adam's apple.
Dr. Lynn's like, do you like drawings? I'm like, yeah, I got a whole book of Brady's balls. I'm like, oh, look at this. Brady's just going down the...
Never seen anything like it.
Brady denies that it happened. I'm like, why would I come out of that office going, hey, I hear you have high and tight balls? I mean, that's something I wouldn't have ever thought about. I was nervous enough. I had a man, gripping my nutsack. I'm not going to come up with a wacky story at that point. I'm pretty much focused on this is embarrassing and awful. You're fine. These low. Well, I'm not like Brady high and tight.
I am leaning towards your version.
Because you're probably high and tight. You have a high and tight look. Like if I looked at you, I'd say his balls are not.
Yeah, they don't dip in the water.
You're.
You look like a high and tight.
You look like
guy?
a high and tight. You look like a medium dragger. I would have guessed you to be a dragger. You're high and tight.
I guess I'm kind of in between. Actually, I'm not really high and tight, but I mean, I guess I'm kind of in between. I'm not dragging in the water.
I'm
and stuff.
a disaster.
They definitely have laxed more as you got with age.
Oh, sure. As you get older, you get old man balls. Yeah. But I had old man balls when I was like 25. I had old man balls at a very early age. I used to sit down on them all the time. I'm like, good God, don't. And I talk to other people. I'm like, don't you hate that? I'm like, what? And you sit down, you're nuts? No, it doesn't happen. You're like 23 years old, man. I'm like, I don't understand why this is not happening to everyone else. And then that elbow skin just got longer and weirder. And the hairs grow off like a bad drawing. It's terrible. Dr. Lynn was thrilled, though, because he could get a whole fist around it. And there was still ball sack underneath his hands. Look at that skin. He's a good one.
Jesus.
He loved it. He was thrilled with it.
Crown Royal bag.
He's great.
Cinch it off.
And you'll wait down here, and these will be fine.
It's like Rocky up there doing his warm-ups.
I got nobody left. I'm by myself. Oh, don't worry, Rock. We take care of these big boys. And then, of course, talk about the high tights. You ever cut a strawberry in half and put it up against your genitals because that's Brady balls? Jesus, half a strawberry. High tight, bright red. Look like road rash. Okay,
red.
stop.
Seeds.
Seeds. You look like little seeds where the hair go. Oh, bright red. You look like after when a baboon present. Okay. A female. Ha 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 ha. Okay, on table. I'm not coming up with this good stuff. But yeah, you need to go. High and tight hurts though. My buddy, and I don't like to use names, but my buddy Brett Keir has high and tight because he was the one that told me my vasectomy was it's going to hurt. First day you're fine. He goes, that next day is miserable. And he kept checking in with me. Kept checking in. One after his nickname is Hard Times. I have a story about that in a second. Checking in every hour. I'm like, I'm doing good, Brett. I'm doing good. And he goes, I was in so much pain at this point. And I'm like, you must be high and tight. And he goes, not like Brady, but I'm high and tight. Okay. His nickname is Hard Times.
That's why I canceled, man. I bailed out.
Do you know who else's nickname is Hard Times? For totally different reasons. Suns dancer Eric Moreno. That's true. You look him up online. It's Eric Hard Times Moreno. But his hard times, I venture to guess, are different than my friend Brett's hard times, which basically was every time he went to a table at Tony Roma's to wait on them, something awful would happen and hard times would ensue. Like there was going to be no tip. He was like a walking 1929. He was a depression. He wasn't depressed, but financially, every table was eventually going to hate Brett and not tip him for some reason. He was affable, nice, but he just carried hard times with him. He was troubled times. Brother, can you spare a dime? Hard times. Eric Hard Times Moreno, the dancer, I'm guessing hard times. Totally different meaning for him.
That maybe is his magazine. He's the editor-chief editor of Hard Times.
It said it on the thing in the bio when we looked him up last night. Eric Quote's Hard Times Moreno. Don't know. But I'm guessing there's some hard times.
Were you guys reading Echo magazine or something or what?
I don't know where Mark found that one. He just Googled it. Because I told him the name because our listener said his name was Eric Moreno.
Yeah.
Because you looked him up. Hard times. Oh, it was hard times, all right. A couple of those moves last night started some hard times. Now that I'm homosexual, I have to really consider what I like. And I think I like that twink dancer. Hard times. Anyway, go get that thing taken care of, Brett. Running around with that loaded gun.
He's yelling at me about it already.
If anything, we got our friend Ted, who's always up in arms about gun safety and shooting things without... Should be all over you for this. Clip it.
He's going to start calling me Baldwin.
And that way, yeah, he'll call you Alec. Your balls are basically Alec bald. Moment now, something terrible's going to happen. You're going to go into hiding. It's awful. And then kids and stuff, they're approving the vaccine. And I'm an anti-vaxxer when it comes to this one.
5
to 11 years old. I'm going Joe Rogan on this. I don't think they need it. Because it doesn't stop it from spreading. It just keeps them from dying. And they're not even susceptible to this.
And yeah.
Like 5 to 11, I'm not putting any... Like now I understand the shooter people who are like, no, you don't know what's in it. You don't know what's in it. When you got a developing body, somebody 5 to 10 years old, and you fire that in there, and you don't really know what it is. I'm kind of with them on that one.
See, I don't know. You've been given vaccines for
right, but they're tested for years and years and years.
These have been tested.
No, they have not.
Yes, they have.
They were sped through on.
They were not.
They absolutely were. It's a 10-year process with the FDA.
According to who?
According to the FDA. When they do drugs for anything else, the reason we can't do stem cells, the reason they're tested everywhere else is because we don't have the proper testing.
You have to wait 10 years.
You have to wait 10 years for approval on a
10
normal
years in a
drug.
day, everything's fine.
Well, they speed things through when it's a necessity, but the testing is not complete, and that's the argument. That's why everybody's saying it. Not that I agree with it or disagree with it. That's just a fact.
I'm just saying.
That's just an absolute fact. That
this method has been researched for 15 years. The mRNA
this particular
technology.
One. Yeah. Well, I'm not talking about mRNA. So, I'm saying that the vaccine and the way they did it was absolutely sped. Project Lightspeed was what it was called for a reason, because once we get something that kind of works, we're going to get approval.
It's a bit of it wasn't sped through, though.
It was sped through, Rich. Look up how long it takes for a drug to get approved. It was absolutely sped through.
They're able to do, I had heard kind of a combination of both. One, they're able to do, they had access, it became priority. So all the testing, the size of the groups
tons of
increased. That's what they spent.
But they very rarely have the placebo group going while they're approving it. And that's exactly what they had, because our guy Paul was in it, and he was getting the tests while they're like, we got to get this out. We don't have the results yet, and they let it loose.
Yeah, they asked
Not
for
that I'm saying they're wrong. I'm not. I took the vaccine because I'm like, I think they've done enough. But I'm not putting that in a kid.
On that one. Yeah.
I'm not putting it in a child because they haven't had time to see a 5-year-old's reaction in 5 years. Because their bodies do different stuff than grown-ups do. We're pretty established. Their bones have that stuff on the end of them that stops them from growing. You know, there's a bunch of things like that like with a kid.
And there's plenty of parents out there that figured like if their kids are getting it, it's very mild or ACE. You know.
I don't
not
do
a ton of symptoms.
I'm not throwing it in a kid.
I'm not saying load your kid up with vaccines. I'm saying the argument is for vaccines is they've got 16 years worth of vaccines in them right now.
Of course. They've got vaccines. It doesn't mean that all vaccines have gone through the same process. This one was definitely different. We all admit that it was different for the greater good. But I'm not a child. Like, I'm with the parents that are on that. I'm like, I don't know if they start mandating that stuff. You're like, well, wait a minute. You can't just say this kid has to have something. But we got to see what this does for long term with at least them. With an adult body, you can get a pretty good gauge off of, like, does this to a 50-year-old and does this to you can get that with 5-year-olds and stuff. You don't know. The coffee will stunt their growth. They're not even supposed to give them coffee. That went out the window. See kids in line at Starbucks and stuff. I wasn't allowed to have coffee when I wasn't allowed to drink coffee.
The processed foods are going to kill them first.
Oh, there's tons of stuff they stuff in their bodies that are garbage. But that's the funny part.
We're all doing that.
The tests on that all come back negative. That's where I get into the arguments with these people with vaccine stuff, is that they're like, well, the tests aren't in. I'm like, yeah, but the tests are in on fat, cholesterol, all this other stuff. You still shove that in there. And we know the bad stuff comes from that. We know it. Yeah, well, that's different. We know it's not going to kill me. No, it is. 660,000 people a year die from heart disease and usually just bad diet and what they're shoving in their body. So when the tests come back and it's all like, well, there's a lot of negatives that come from it too, we still do it. But yeah, with a kid, they're starting to improve that. And I'm like, oh, man, another reason not to have them, though. Now I don't have to worry about it.
Man.
You shove a vaccine in your kid or not. It's up to you. Guess what I'm not going to be doing? Thinking about it. You would have done it with Alex at like age 5. You'd have gotten the vaccine for him.
Yeah, probably.
This one, no kidding.
Yeah.
It's tough even when their kids are going through the regular vaccines, but because there's so many of them.
Right.
Yeah.
But you do it, and
there's a bunch of them, and a lot of people are like
trade-offs.
Yeah. I mean, there's plenty of them that want to wait. Like that whole vaccine argument that happened a few years ago was a little bit crazy.
Ronnie and I, had differences on
the HPV one
rounds, and a lot of
the
it
HPV ones. It's a little weird when they get into junior high and they have that sex education.
Yeah,
and then they start talking about the HPV.
You're supposed to give a kid like an HPV shot
before they hit high school.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
And it stops what?
Human papillomavirus.
But it doesn't stop it. It stops it from being really bad. Like you can still catch it, right? Because it's not a cure.
I'm not positive on it.
Stops it from going crazy.
No vaccine is a cure.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So I don't know what it stops. Like it stops it from turning over.
One of the biggest problems is everybody thinks the vaccine's a cure. It's not a cure. You get the population down to a point where you conquer the disease.
That's why I don't think the kids are like, because there's not going to be a thing. Yeah. They're just worried about going to school.
HPV is a real thing.
Absolutely.
That's a bad thing.
Horrific. But it doesn't stop it. It just stops it from eating up their ovaries.
But if you get it to a point where, like, if Alex has the HPV vaccine,
did he get it?
Oh yeah, nice. Had to before. You
have to get those now.
It's recommended. Yeah.
Oh wow. I don't know if I'd do that one either.
And that's another one that's on your list of stuff that you
that
have
argument
to do
for that one
for high school.
Your kids feel like they're impervious to STDs if they feel, I got this vaccine, because they're dumb as stumps. Mm-hmm. And then they start wanting to hump things like I can't catch it.
Well, the HPV is just basically passing cervical cancer.
Right. That's the thing.
That's the biggest thing about it.
So that's why you're like, well, I can't do this. Yeah. And as a guy, you're like, cervical cancer, I'm not worried about that.
Yeah.
So he gets the shot. Yeah. There's shots for everything. I'm not stuffing a 5-year-old full of that. So they're like 12. Did Kirby get it?
The HPV one?
Yeah.
Not sure.
You don't know?
No.
No, he wasn't 12. He was 13 and a half, I think.
All right, so it's probably coming up in this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if she's a girl, though, they develop a little quicker.
Poker.
You're going to get her that HPV shot. You get that HPV shot for you and me.
Give me Dr. Lynn's number.
That's right. You have to cut it off, man. Listen to these guys. They got to think about way too many terrible things. Shoving needles and sickness and all sorts of stuff in their kids.
That'll be a tough one. She hates shots.
Yeah?
Oh.
What does she hate more?
She's farm strong now. I mean, I had to hold her down the last time.
No kidding?
Oh, yeah.
And she's stronger than you.
Yeah. No, she's not stronger than me. No,
Come on.
That's impossible.
That was an omission.
All right, old man, you're going to need more than just your two
It'll
heads.
just take a little more game.
And she's 13. You had to hold her down for a shot?
When she was a kid, she hated him.
But now you said she's farm strong. She'd push up. She said there was a fight.
She'll have a little more resistance.
Did she get the vaccine for the COVIDs?
No.
No. So when was her last shot?
It's been a while.
Yeah, but she fought you off. Now she's
the
older
last
and
time
stronger,
we had you had to do a series of them, 4 of them.
You held her down.
Yeah.
Oh, baby.
Didn't have a choice.
Go to that. I want to see that wrestling match. Get that for Brady-O video. Put that on your Instagram. People will watch that. That'd be great.
Man, she's going to put size 10 right up your ass.
Brady has to put all of his body weight down on a kid so she doesn't get the herpes or warts or whatever HPV is. That's awesome.
Yeah, but we have to figure out the first thing first, because she's right on that age.
Yeah.
Approved on everything now, as far as even the COVID.
Get her loaded up. Man, oh, man.
I think about that. I mean, your point of the development of a kid.
I don't know. Like they're
taking the
puberty and all
vaccine
that.
And
I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah.
I'm not smart enough to understand it, but I am smart enough to know let's not stunt it. So I worry about those things. But not for my kids because I don't have any. Never will.
Maybe the stunting thing might not be too bad.
Yeah, stunt your growth a little bit.
6'3" now.
Yeah, maybe you should start injecting more stuff into Kirby to slow her growth.
When her friends at school are saying, I think you're taller now.
They're noticing. She's Clifford.
The big red dog.
The big red bogan. Yeah, that's what those high and tight balls do. They create those giant kids. Those supersized.
Making up for it.
7-footers. Because the sperm is like, it doesn't have to travel anywhere.
Travel distance.
Travel distance just shoots right out of that little pea, right from the balls that are right there next to the urethra. And went out like a bullet.
It's a fast feed.
You're shooting an AR-15. I got this thing, man. I got like a slingshot. Mine has to go around the moon once. Yeah, I don't know.
Yours is like putting one of those coins in and the little circles around.
Yeah, it takes
Goes
forever.
through the funnel.
Sometimes it falls off. You got to put it back. Yeah, I'm not begrudging anybody who takes their kid down there to get the shot. Go do what you do. But for me, that's a raised eyebrow. That's sketchy to me. Because it is kind of one of those things. Like, I just don't know what's what. We're finding out as we go. Oh, it does this. Oh, there's a little side effect here. But we're getting it already. Normally, they have all the side effects all mapped out.
Is Fauci at the point where people are like, no, don't use Fauci to say this?
He did that. No, he was the voice of the kid shot yesterday.
Yeah.
If you want your kids to get it, go ahead. They're all right. Everything will be fine.
Dr. Fauci, you realize that everyone hates you for no reason?
Yeah, I know. I'm trying.
There's a...
what are you going to do?
It's on the Disney channel, Disney Plus.
Yeah.
There's a Fauci documentary. Fauci.
Loving him, though, because Disney's not going to do an
Exactly.
expose. Yeah, Disney isn't going to go after him.
Oh.
We here at Disney have found that Fauci's a dick,
He and Goofy go through the labs,
sure,
I guess.
Sure. Well, that's what happened to Goofy. He was normal, and then he got a vaccine that wasn't tested when he was 5, and look. Turned him into a cow dog or whatever the hell he is. Yeah, it's weird, but yeah, those are the decisions you have to make as parents, and Bert and I don't. So enjoy your kids' bumpy genitals. If you don't do it, we don't care.
Bert's like, I already got him.
Yeah, so what if you got the HPV? You don't have to worry about your kids having it. And how do you sit down?
We think you might be a whore, so we want to make sure you have all the precautions.
Look, there's a good chance.
Yeah. Good chance you're going to be a whore. And the guys that like you are going to show up with speed bumps on their peckers. So I want you to have every T crossed. And I hate this conversation with you so much, Kirby.
It's all right, Joe Pirate. I'll wrap it up. Have a nice day, Daddy. We'll use double condoms. I'll think of you every time I'm playing with a boner, old man.
All right. Thanks, Kerbiderbs.
Daddy got me the sexy horse shot. Yeah.
You had me singing that.
Yeah. Hey, you got the sexy horse shot? I do.
Yeah,
Can't catch HPV. Look at me, bump free.
Here's one. The HPV vaccine does actually prevent a few of the HPV variant. It
all right.
prevents it.
Fired in this arm, baby. I'm going to town, Daddy.
Poke me.
It's got to be the worst day of your life. It's got to be the worst day of your life to go.
We got to get you the sexy HPV shot.
All right.
You can catch it from a toilet seat.
That's not, Daddy. The only way to do it is through sexual intercourse, and I'm interested. I wouldn't want to have that talk with any kid. Did you have to talk to Alex about it before he shot him, or you didn't even tell him what it was?
He had the I don't remember what they call sex ed in Mesa School District now, but they call it something that's
Go ahead, Brady.
some flowery name.
What do they call it, Brady?
Come
on.
Donkey time?
No. Donkey time is nuts. That's, yes, they call it donkey time. Sex ed in Mesa is also known as donkey time. Go ahead.
They don't have it in Mesa.
Why is that, Brady?
There's only one mule.
That's right. I thought you were going to call it agriculture.
We had a talk about why he was getting like one more vaccine.
Right.
Because
but you didn't tell him it was to cure.
No, because he knew.
They
talked about it in sex ed.
Slut bumps?
Yeah, they talked about HPV.
And then everybody got a shot afterwards.
Talked about HPV, talked about a bunch of the other sexually transmitted diseases.
Scared the tar out of them with
Yeah.
HPV.
Let me tell you.
We had that. And,
hard to catch.
40 years ago
fine,
we had
kid.
that in our sex ed.
Horribly hard to catch. It's nearly impossible.
I've tried for years.
Look, it's nearly impossible to catch. It's like a 2% chance. You're really working hard to do it.
Speaking of.
He's calling you.
Dad, something itches. I don't think that shot worked.
I got bumps.
I'm covered.
Dad, you're out of strawberry vodka.
I think I got attacked by mosquitoes in the genital area last
I'm
night.
not feeling right.
Well, it's a good thing because enough
Bro,
strawberry.
I missed the bus.
Enough strawberry vodka, you're going to end up with the HPV because most people who drink that stuff do slutty things.
Bruh.
Off to get my herpes shot. All right. I just love that you give a kid herpes shots. My dad wouldn't have done it. Would your dad have done that? No, my dad wouldn't have done it either. You get a what? An HPV shot. I tell you what, if you get the HPV, I'm just going to knock it out of you anyway. Okay. Don't bang sluts.
Damn, that's not how it works. Don't bang sluts, kid.
Is it free?
Look at him. He's not having sex. My dad would have known. He's going to be a virgin for a long time. We don't need to waste any time bringing him to the clinic for this. Look at his head. Nobody's going to sleep with that kid. And he was right. Anyway, that's a tough conversation. And again, Dr. Lynn, Sunrise Urology. Highly recommend it so you never have to have this conversation about your kid's genitals. Because the last thing a parent wants to do Let's talk about their kids' bumpy jennies. Ugh.
It's the last thing I want to hear about, too.
And do your kids tell you when they got the HPV? Isn't that like, I don't know that any
Kirby
parent,
did.
Did she tell you in a minute? Daddy, we got to sit down and have it set. I did some stuff on a slide.
No, I don't think they bring that up.
I did some stuff on a swing set I'm not proud of, Dad. Oop. I'm going to need some ointment, maybe an unguent. For the rest of my life, old man. Why didn't you get that shot?
Think about if you were in high school and you came home with a bump.
Oh, my.
Are you telling your parents?
Good God, no, I'm dying from it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't tell them now.
Girls might be different. They might talk to their mom.
Yeah.
About what's going on down here.
No, there was none of that. I would have died from it. If I could have been covered in them. I would have died from it. I'd have figured out a way to go to a doctor on my own. Or just died from it. Oh, I can't imagine. Would you have told your parents? Oh, the shame you would have had to feel.
No.
You got it from dry humping some girl on that couch, that Stephanie girl.
Maybe tried saying, got something, from figure out some kind of an excuse.
Yeah.
Saying I need to go to see a doctor.
Yeah. Take me to the doctor. It hurts.
Like a rash.
It a rash. That's not bad. And then the doctor calls your mom and he goes, he's got.
Oh, I would. Yeah.
He's got porn dick.
Dr. Singleman would have been on the phone. Like, look.
What is it, Dr. Singleman? Mrs. Bogan, your son has porn dick. Oh, God. How?
It's curable.
Dry humping some ninth grader. Things got out of hand. He's got the porn dick. Oh, boy. I don't like that at all.
What's he saying, Ma?
You're going to die. When your dad finds out. Yeah, that would have been terrible. I would have rooted for you to have that, just for that conversation. I hope you still get it, and you have to call Bunny and Torp.
Coming out to C-Bus there for Easter.
Oh, that'd be great, Braids. Any news? What's going on in your world?
Got porn dick.
Holy cow.
What's that now?
I got that in Cuba.
That's what would happen. He'd tell me a
He'd
story.
finally open up. Oh, the apple doesn't fall too far.
Oh, yeah, don't worry about it.
Oh, yeah, your mother and I have had that for years. We just keep passing it back and forth. Why do you think we love too much? Back and forth it goes. Anyway, what do you got on the big board of musical treats over there, Bert?
Wake Up Song brought to you by our buddies over there at Action Ride Shop. Whether you're going to hit the trails, hit the slopes, or whatever, Action Ride Shop has got you covered. All your ski bindings, all your boots, all your rentals, as well as on the bike side, all your accessories. Bikes and rentals, it's all there at Action Ride Shop. ActionRideShop.com is where you need to go, and check them out on the Instagram and Facebook. And let's see here, once my screen decides to act up.
Yeah, Ryan Nez says that HPV thing, he goes, should be given, protects against the herpes that lead to cervical cancer, which we know. The same herpes that led to the head and neck cancer of Michael Douglas. Remember when he got that?
Yeah.
But he said it was from chowing too much. But evidently it was on the ladies who had the thing.
It was on the lady parts, wasn't it?
So, yeah, well, evidently the lady bits that he was ingesting created his throat cancer and his mouth cancer.
Yeah.
And he said it was from eating too much of that stuff.
Gotten a couple of texts here out of the last 10 or so. This explains your sister, John.
What do you mean?
HPV. She got it.
Why does that explain my sister?
I don't know how that explains the witching it or what.
Oh, that she decided to go
Turned
to
her into a
witchcraft?
witch?
I don't know. Well, look, Jesus, that
that
was
what
a
HPV
stretch.
does?
Way to go.
Man,
That's a
you
real
know
stretch.
something?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't know anything about her, and I hope to never know that if she's got that. She'll never know if I have it.
Too long since you talked to her.
Yeah, I think it's her birthday today. Happy birthday to Dog the Bounty Sister. She's the dog, the big dog, Bounty Sister.
That's a great nickname.
Yeah, Dog the Bounty Sister is aged today, and evidently some of our audience knows something I don't, and that's fine by me. I don't know if that's the case.
So if you're 49, what's that make her?
53. Is that right? Yeah. 68. That's the same year as you, or 1 year younger, 1 year
I'm 68.
older than you. 68, same year then.
Yeah, so she's a few months younger.
Okay. There you go. Well, you look better.
Thanks. Got better hair, even though I'm losing it?
No. Didn't say it's better hair. Just saying you look better. Because I'd rather be in a room with you. That's the difference.
20 years, I don't think I've ever met your sister.
Rather look at good. Consider yourself lucky. Because 49 years ago I met her and worthless. Terrible.
Dog's nice.
Dog's bounty sister?
Yeah.
Or she was the last time you met her.
Brady says that about everybody,
I
though.
know, that's true.
He don't want to be honest about it all. He doesn't admit when people are jerks. Weirdos.
I got no bone with the dog.
You got no bone with the dog, because why would you?
Yeah.
The hell are you diving in for? But evidently one of the listeners did, and
Yeah,
Two of the
knows
listeners.
something.
the bumps.
I don't know if it's the same phone plan.
I don't know. I'm
Just
not
get
making the
some,
accusation. I
flannel
don't want
and
to
some
know.
castor oil, it'll all go away.
I don't know if anybody in my family's got it.
Another
At
one's
all.
asking if the sexy shot is what stunted your growth, Brady.
Maybe.
The what?
The sexy
The
shot.
HPV.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Is that what you called it?
The sexy shot. Yeah, sexy HPV shot. Because it turns your kid into a dirty whore, an impervious dirty whore.
It's their Captain America
it
shield.
takes away one. Why wouldn't you? The easiest one to catch next to gonorrhea, and that's just a shot. Look out, baby. Give me some gigantic high heels. I'm going out of the tap. Yeah, it just seems like a go get 'em kind of shot. It's one less thing.
You're clear now.
One less thing to worry about shot. And it probably should be given, but from what I'm reading, but I don't know.
John, please, for the love of God, keep talking about STDs. My buddy is listening right now with me in the car. He's freaking out because
Has
he's
he got
waiting
one?
for results.
Oh, yes. Got it then.
Got the bumps.
You got it then. Yeah,
You got
know
it.
you got
What's
it.
the story? Did the girl
Yeah, we
call
get
and
one.
tell you? I hear drinking
What
your own.
kind of-
I hear drinking your own pee cures it.
There you go.
Try it in the car right now. I don't know. Give it a run. Oh, that's tough. He's waiting for results. For which one?
I'm asking him what
All
kind
of
of
them?
trip he has.
Oh, that's a tough day. Got to go into work and have that happen? Forget it. No way. Anyway, so go ahead, Brad. What's
All
up
right,
there?
we got new Volbeat up there, Anthrax, Black Flag, Killing Joke, some eclectic ones out there. Deftones, Megadeth, Falling in Reverse, Rainbow, El Nino. Somebody actually requested Bugs Bunny.
For yesterday.
Yeah.
Live in the now.
I know. It was for today, though. That's what they put down.
Move on.
And then 2 songs for you, AC/DC Big Balls, and Drag the Waters, because that's apparently what your balls do in the toilet.
AC/DC's big ball's not accurate, but Drag the Water's wildly accurate. Got to lift them up out of there sometimes. You know what the worst part is? Sometimes when I sit to pee, I reach down to get them, and my hand goes right into the pee water. I get to the bottom, give them a squeeze and stuff to get some extra out. God dang it. I got pee hand. They're down there. Now, when it feels like they're not, they are close. And then sometimes they're just, we're in, man. Like one of those old 1800s things, just put that helmet on it. Just let him go with the wire. He's going in, going sewer diving. They have scrotoplasty for people, too, and I've looked into it, but I don't think I could do that. I don't want to recover from that one.
Oh, that's easy.
No, it isn't. You say that, but then I'm a high and tight, and everything's going to hurt, according to Dr. Lynn.
Yeah, but you don't have to worry about it anymore. I mean, once you're cut, you're cut. If you're high and tight now, it doesn't matter.
It's not that big a deal. It's just ugly. And plus, then the chart on the wall of, like, you know, the way testicles are supposed to look, different types. And you've got A, Brady, C, D, E. And I fell into that J category.
You're not even on the chart.
It's way down there. I got to go to Shane Company later today, and they do that. You know, the VVA1 and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And the
Clarity.
Clarities and the colors. Mine is way down at the end. My diamond is dark and cloudy and in the water.
It's just a piece of coal right now.
Yeah, it's not. It's between the toes of a slave that mines it. There's nothing about my diamond that anybody needs for value. It is awful. Brady's high and tight shines like the
cut,
like the Rose of England. Like half a strawberry just stuck to a guy. If you cut a ragaball in half and painted it red and suctioned it to Brady,
that's his cup.
That's it. High tight. His balls have no room to move. They are in there, locked down, like a coffin, a nut coffin. Let's go with Drag the Waters. I like that one anyway. Little Pantera this morning. That going for your wake-up song. I think that's solid. Drag the Waters is a good one. I got we talked earlier about how I hate, for entertainment purposes, music from Mexico is the worst thing in the world. And at Dia de los Muertos, last night at the Suns game, the halftime show was all Mexican music and ribbons and walking, like a lot of walking. No interesting movement, no real entertainment value to anything outside of the costumes and the colors, which were amazing. And then some guy crooning away. So tubas, accordions, I'm like, this music is the worst. Even if the United States was what it was and we had Mexican music, I'd still escape to Canada. And so I think the music may be half the reason why everybody's trying to get out of that country. And this guy, Israel, says, good morning, show. The less tuba and accordion you hear, the more flavor the food loses. And I think he might be right. But that's in a restaurant. So you want accordions in the restaurant because then the hot sauce will be hot. But not for like, hey, nobody ever hires a Mexican mariachi band for like their party, unless it's like a quinceañera. But nobody does that. Like nobody likes it.
My dad wanted them.
Your dad wanted them because your dad is sort of bigoted towards culture.
We had them at my. It was at my house
because it makes
the
him.
Wedding.
It's a joke. It was a joke.
He loves it,
and it was a joke. And your dad is 100 years old, which makes my point. Like this is music from his era. Like he's a very old man.
The beaches of Cuba.
The sounds of and Cuba, it brought him right back home. But the sound of that music is so old and awful, nobody wants to hear it. So even during the Suns game last night, I was like, this is awful. This is not for entertainment. For salsa, for chips, and a delicious thing of beans and burritos, forget about it. Keep that pumping through the speakers. But when somebody says, hey, I guarantee I could clear a room. If we had a big room of people at the time, I'm like, all right, everybody, now enjoy authentic Mexican music. Everybody would be like, all right, let's get out of here. We got to go. Nobody wants to listen to that. That's why everybody's face does the same thing when you pull up at the light next to the landscapers and they're playing it. I was like, God, it's awful. You roll your windows up. You do everything you can to not hear it. Sorry, Mexican people. That music is dreadful because it's basically Mexican country music. And our American country music's dreadful, too. Ugh. Thinking about it right now. No tubas. We don't have any songs with tubas in them, do we? Or an accordion.
Didn't they get it from the Germans? Or the other
Germans
way
came over and started messing around, and they taught them polka, and then they infused the two of them together. And look, Germans, nobody likes your music either unless it's
Oktoberfest.
Blasted while that's on. Yeah, it's festive for an event. You don't want to hear it in like normal times. It's like Christmas music. It doesn't make sense in April. It has a specific time it should be used, and that's it. Dia de los Muertos, you got to come up with something better. That was awful last night. Haven't you seen anything on the internet? Scantily clad women are what we like to look at, not these ladies in gigantic, look like the top of a cake. Anyway.
I can't find any tuba rock songs.
There aren't any. That might be a good rock war today. But you're probably right. Without tubas and accordions, Mexican food starts tasting kind of mayonnaise-y white. In order to get the proper spice, you got to have a tuba thrown in there every once in a while. That's how you know it's authentic.
If the younger generation doesn't get into rock, then guess what? An art form has died.
You've been listening to Holmberg's Morning Sickness Podcast, brought to you by our friends at Eric's Family Barbecue in Avondale. Meet, mesquite, repeat. Eric'sFamilyBBQ.com.